Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Running the Bases podcast. I'm your host, Michael Garaffa, alongside Marco Peralta, Nick Nath, and Ryan Blank. Welcome, everybody. It's Sunday, October 11th, Season 2, Episode 14, and another really great week of baseball has come and gone. And boy, oh boy, do we have this stuff to discuss today. It is an exciting day, especially welcome on those who are listening on Blaze, because just again, making sure you guys know that are listening on Blaze, this show is recorded on Sunday if you're listening to this Monday night. So everything we're talking about is a day earlier if you are listening on Blaze. But if you're here live with us on YouTube, obviously, welcome on in. But tomorrow, we will see for the first time of the entire year fans in baseball stadiums, and that is going to be exciting. But before we get to there, we still have the excitement of tonight with the ALCS beginning. We're going to get into those matchups in just a moment, but I am stoked to have buzz in the stadium starting tomorrow. I am so excited for that series, to finally have fans in the stadium, to have people to react to what's going on is going to be it's something that we've been missing all year long, and I think that is going to be so fun to watch, and I cannot wait to do that. But nonetheless, we have a really good lineup of stuff to talk about, starting with all of the division series, and then we're going to preview the upcoming championship series. So we're going to kick it right off. We're going to go with the National League division. Oh, we lost Marco. He'll be back in a minute. He's been having computer issues. He probably pressed the button by accident. So I'll make sure to let him on in when he's back. But without any other interruption, we've got the NLDS, and that is going to be, we're recapping the Marlins and Braves first. That is going to be not really as important of a matchup as the other ones, but still, it was a great series. There was a lot that took place in that series. And I mean, it was a one-sided series the entire time. The Braves won it in 3, and that was obviously a sweep of the series, which I don't think many people expected a straight-up sweep, but they still just outplayed him. So we're going to do the same thing we did last week. What went wrong, what went right, and then the series MVP. Marco is back. He is going to connect on in. There he is. Welcome back in, Marco. We're happy to have you back. We know we lost you for a second there, but it's all right. So we're talking about the Marlins and the Braves. What went wrong? The Marlins couldn't keep up with the Braves. Their offense was just they weren't having it. Their offense couldn't do what they've been needing to do to get through this postseason. And their pitching, mainly Sixto Sanchez, couldn't hold the Braves down. So that was a struggle for them right away. They had a good pitching staff that got them through the Cubs series, but they couldn't beat out the Braves just because of that lack of pitching. And Sixto Sanchez, the nerves got to him finally after the adrenaline kind of wore off. For the Braves, the only thing that went wrong was I thought the pitching staff did struggle just a little bit. They had a bit of trouble getting through. I mean, it was not the electric Braves pitching staff. Hey, if I had to pick, I had to pick something. Oh, here, Ryan's.
That's poor.
Ryan, I had to pick something. I had to pick something. I have to say something that went wrong. And out of everything
that did not go wrong.
What I'm saying is that it was not perfect. They had a great pitching staff, but the only thing that the Braves series was perfect for the Braves. The only thing that was negative about it was that they weren't perfect, but they were great. They had a great pitching staff, and that held them through the series.
The only thing that was struggling was maybe Max Fried game 1, who gave up 4 runs. That's
exactly.
It.
That's what I mean, is that the pitching staff
wasn't struggled throughout the whole series. What are you talking about?
I didn't say they struggled. I never said they struggled. I said they weren't perfect.
Nobody's perfect. Oh my Lord.
I wasn't saying they had to be. I was saying, does everyone else understand where I'm coming from here? That I have to come up with something that went wrong and they weren't perfect.
Idiocracy. Oh my God.
Am I the only one here?
I don't get how you could say they have to pick something wrong. So
are you
saying?
Thank you, Marco.
Are you saying that there's something wrong for the Dodgers sweeping the Padres?
There was something wrong with that series.
There was something wrong, but do I have to pick it though? Like, we still won 3-0, you know? Like,
you're delusional.
I would tell you.
You're delusional again.
I would tell you.
Did you take your medicine today, buddy?
I did. Thank you.
I would tell you like some scary parts of my series, but besides I don't think it went really wrong. But like the Braves, I think they just did really, really good overall against a team that was thought a lot about themselves already as it is. Like we said from the beginning, the Marlins don't deserve to be in the playoffs. They just got if it was a 162 game season, they wouldn't be in the playoffs. They just got really overhyped because they won their wild card series and like they're like, oh, they're going to the Braves now, but they got swept 3-0 against the Braves. A really powerful offense, really good pitching staff. So there's not much to discuss there. Everything went the Braves' way, and it looks pretty good for the NL teams because both teams who won the division series won 3-0 compared to the AL teams that won their series in 5 games and they won their series in 4 games. So it looks really good that this NL squad on this side of the bracket looks pretty good. But at the same time, you don't underestimate any of the AL teams. But the Braves, they did phenomenal. Great pitching staff. The offense showed up when they needed to. And it's going to be a great series. The NLCS is going to be a great series.
Right, and I completely agree. And I mean, if I have to, fine.
Oh, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Because you certainly think something's wrong with that series, which I don't get.
I didn't say that I think there was something wrong. I wanted to be consistent and have one negative about every series, so I picked something. It's not that big of a deal, Ryan. Goodness.
But it's just wrong.
Okay, then I'll say nothing was wrong in that series because nothing was wrong in that series. I wanted to be consistent. But going back to what I was going with until Ryan rudely interrupted. It's okay. I appreciate the discussion. I appreciate it. It's good.
I wouldn't have to interrupt you if you didn't say stupid comments.
I explained myself already. We're not going to keep explaining the same thing. So what went right?
Ryan, we have to be very lenient with Michael. Remember, he's a Mets fan. Remember that.
Oh, yeah. We always have to remember, Mets fans are as delusional as Cowboys fans.
Thank you. And remember that he's going to get a tattoo on his arm one day saying, Steve Cohen. That's all it's going to say. Steve Cohen, baby. That's all. But
a tattoo of Steve Cohen.
Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah. So what went right in this series? There's a lot that went right. And obviously you guys can go through whatever you want. I'm just going in this order. For the Marlins, their offense did about what you would expect. They were at the average that they had been. They didn't really overperform. They didn't really underperform. They just were outpitched. And that was really it for the Marlins. For the Braves, their offense was at its best. The bullpen was fantastic. Their starting pitching did a great job. Kyle Wright was phenomenal. And I think the best part about this series for the Braves is they didn't even use all of their bullpen arms. AJ Minter didn't even come into a game. So that is important to remember going into this upcoming series. They preserved some of those arms that they have been wanting to preserve, and that's huge for them. And for my series MVP, I'm wearing him on my back. Mr. Travis d'Arnaud.
I have a question for you. As a journalist, I have to ask.
Yes.
How does it feel for him to just light it up with the Braves? Just how does it feel? Because he couldn't do it with the Mets. It's because the Mets are just horrible fans and boo him off the field.
Whoa. Let's not be that mean to Mets fans. He didn't play well with the New York Mets.
They booed him off the field in his final game. I can't say that.
And as a fan, he deserved it. As a journalist, it lived up to the expectations.
New Yorkers are brutal. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we are. If you don't
deserve to get booed off the field.
As a fan, from a fan's perspective, that is what New York fans do. If you do not perform, you get booed off. So
you're saying I could have booed off half the Royals bullpen.
Yeah, that's what you do. That's the passion of New York fans. That's what we do. Matt Harvey,
passion or just overall, no, I'm not going to go there. We're just going to move
expectation. Matt Harvey's last start
in New York Mets for the Mets
booed off the field.
The Mets are the most disappointing team in baseball, just like the Cowboys in football.
Okay, Mr.
What are your expectations?
Okay, Mr. Fourth Place was only good for 2 years, and then
at least I know we're not good. At least I know we're not going to make the playoffs. Like you says, the Mets are going to win the World Series every single year.
It's
Steve Cohen, baby.
Yes, exactly. Steve Cohen's going to save us and save the day. Dom's watching. How nice. Congratulations, Dom. You're watching. My mom is also watching, giving us some good comments.
Hi, Mrs. Garaffa.
Yeah, she's got a point. You need to see Yankee fans. They're the
can I
worst.
say something really, really quick, bro?
Michael, I like your mom more than you.
Thank you, Ryan. I was about
Nick
to say
hasn't been able to say a word.
So
Nikash, get in on this, buddy. You haven't talked.
Hey, Ryan, check this out, Ryan. So I called Michael when the Dodgers were beating the crap out of the Padres in Game 3. I think it was Game 3. Was it Game 3 or Game 1?
Yeah, they won 12.
No, I actually think it was either Game 1 or Game 2 because
No,
the third game was on MLB.
2. Yeah,
Then I think it was Game 1.
2. Anyways, so I
think it was Game 1.
So I call Michael. I FaceTime him, and all of a sudden I just say, "Go Dodgers, baby!" And then all of a sudden I hear in the background, "See cover, baby!" And I'm like, "Oh, was that you?" No, that was my mom. What, dude? That's where you got it from, man. She's awesome.
No, I think his mom got it from him because Michael's the most delusional baseball fan I've ever met.
He did say that, but the fact that she says it now, I'm like, she's like passionate now, So I thought it was pretty cool.
We know. Steve Cohen is coming to save the day. So that's my spiel on the Marlins Braves series. Marco already went. Do you have a series MVP, Marco?
I really don't. I guess I could go with Acuna Jr. because like at the beginning when they were like trying to hit him intentionally, he just lived up. He put his big boy pants on and like, you know what? I'm gonna talk on the field. He did put a tweet out saying like they have to hit me because they can't get me out. But like
and then struck out all 4 at-bats the next day.
Yeah, I just think like it was a good thing to do for him because it's the right tone in the clubhouse and like, hey, these guys they suck or they're trying to hit us all the time. So I can't really choose an MVP. I would just say that Acuna's tweet could be an MVP because they put everyone in the right mindset to beat the Marlins maybe. So I go with Acuna's tweet. I go with that.
I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Shout out to the Golden Sombrero podcast who really got Acuna Jr.'s Golden Sombrero. Perfect timing. The irony in what he said, beautiful. But I've been going on this Braves series. There was nothing wrong with what the Braves did. The Braves did everything
Keep rubbing it in.
The hitting was there. The pitching was there. What else do you want from them, Michael? I'm curious. Ian Anderson and Kyle Wright, both making their postseason debuts in this postseason, were electric. Again, Kyle Wright, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs. Ian Anderson has pitched 11 2/3 innings in this postseason, 0 earned runs. What else can you ask from them? I thought that this pitching staff was going to tumble without Michael Soroka in the playoffs, and they're just dominating. And then, of course, you've got Freddie Freeman, Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Travis d'Arnaud, Marcell Ozuna. This is a terrific team, a dominant offense that is getting assistance from their pitching staff stepping up. And my MVP of the series, Dansby Swanson, because I can't pick Travis d'Arnaud because I refuse to pick the same person as Michael. Dansby Swanson, terrific series from him. He had 12 total bases. He had 2 home runs in back-to-back games like d'Arnaud did. He and d'Arnaud got the Braves Game 2 win with their solo home runs. I don't think anyone here is going to disagree with me on that. He had 5 RBIs in this series. He had a terrific series at the plate. So Dansby Swanson is my MVP of the series, and this Braves team is looking really good, and that's what they needed to do going into a series against the best team in baseball.
I agree. Nick, we finally turn to you.
You guys basically said everything about this series. The Braves look good. Aside from what Game 1 showed, their pitching was struggling a little bit Game 1, but Game 2 and 3 they didn't allow a single run, and they look as scary as ever heading into the NLCS against the Dodgers. My MVP is also going to go with Michael's Travis d'Arnaud. You know that lineup's scary when you're kind of not containing, but doing your best on Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr. But guys like Dansby Swanson and Travis d'Arnaud are killing you, which makes this Braves lineup even more dangerous heading into the NLCS. Up and down, they can compete with the Dodgers hitting up and down if they get production from d'Arnaud and Swanson like they did last series. And the Marlins just weren't ready for the series yet. They're too young. No one expected them to be here. No one expected them to beat the Cubs, but their future looks bright. Sixto Sanchez looks like a future ace. But altogether, the Braves look scary, and it'll be an exciting NLCS. My MVP, Travis Startup.
Right in time. That guy had to floor it the second he got there. But that was a good series.
He's
but
got a need for speed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So that brings us over to the Padres-Dodgers series, another very one-sided series. But honestly, this series is more exciting than the Marlins and Braves. Not to say the Braves and Marlins weren't exciting. It was just a very high-intensity series, a lot going on between Manny Machado complaining about Brusdar Graterol being excited after Machado threw his bat across the field. Like, it was an emotional series for both teams, and this sparked a rivalry between them two for years to come that I can't wait to see. The Dodgers did win in all 3 games, so they swept the series against the Padres. So what went wrong? For the Padres, their offense couldn't wake up enough. They could not get the big hit. The thing I think about is the one game where he had the bases loaded in game 2 in the last inning where all you needed was one hit to tie the game, and it couldn't come through. The bigger problem was the lack of pitching depth, mainly starting pitching depth. They didn't have those guys to come out and pitch all 5 games. The big problem with that was Mike Clevenger getting hurt. Him getting hurt was the thing that killed this series and really ended the Padres' hopes of going far.
Can I say something about that?
Yes. Well,
they should have never pitched Clevenger whatsoever. He should not have been pitched. Flat out. And now he said in an interview after the game, it feels like bones are hitting the back of his elbow.
Oh, my.
This could lead to Tommy John. You could lose your best pitcher for next season.
Yeah.
That's the one criticism I have of Jace Tingler, especially in the playoffs, is that he decided to play a pitcher who was not healthy. If any pitcher, I would throw out Danielson Lamet before him. But Lamet couldn't go. And Clevenger should not have been pitched. That was a reach, and it could hurt them severely going throughout next season.
Yeah, and I was going to play off of that and say that I think another big problem of this series was just poor management, and primarily of the starting pitching. Jace Tingler showed that he's not a very good manager of starting pitching. Chris Paddock should have gotten the ball game 3. I think anybody can agree that Adrian Morejon was not ready to start that game. He didn't go deep. Paddock probably gave you a much better chance of winning it, and that blew the series right there. I mean, Jace Tingler, I've said it all year long that Jace Tingler is not a very good manager for this team, and that was exposed when he didn't back up his player. When Fernando Tatis Jr. hit the grand slam on a 3-0 pitch, and he called him out for not getting a sign. I mean, you got to back up your players. The only thing that went wrong for the Dodgers, and this is something that did go wrong that I will say was a problem, that is Kenley Jansen. He struggled. He couldn't get the outs that he needed to get, and that is a bad sign for the Dodgers. They need him to be electric, and he was not electric. His velocity has been down a lot this year, and it's hard for me to see a guy like Kenley Jansen, who is supposed to be the best closer in baseball, to struggle the way he did. That was the biggest problem. What are you complaining about now?
Did I just hear best closer in baseball?
He should be the best closer in baseball and once was the best closer in baseball.
I thought I heard he is the best closer in baseball. And I was about to be like, no.
No, not anymore. No, he is not the best closer in baseball anymore. But what went right for the Padres, they had the electricity. They showed a lot of promise for the future, which is great. The future of this Padres staff is very bright. For the Dodgers, their offense was amazing. Their starting pitching was amazing. Their bullpen was amazing. There's nothing else to say. The Dodgers were the immaculate team. And the series MVP, I've got to give it to Cody Bellinger. A really great series for him, saving the home run, hitting the home run. He hit very well in the series all around. I mean, they wouldn't have won. I don't think they would have won that series in 3 games if he doesn't rob that home run. So just a really big thing for him and for the Dodgers overall.
Dang, I should have gone first besides you, Michael, because you took everything I said, man. God. But I'll just agree with you on a lot of things. The Padres, they did good, but I just got to say that they have to work on their maturity a little bit more and their chemistry a little bit more, because of the fact is that, man, I don't want to sound like I'm beating the Padres now down because like they played a really good season. They really did, but they gotta work on getting to know each other a whole lot more, especially
Yeah.
manager wise, because we don't know who their manager is going to be next year if this guy gets an extension or not. And I think the Tatis, he had a really great. It's not his first year in the majors, but like his first great season. So I got to applaud him for that. But the guy needs to work on his arm a lot. He has a really powerful cannon of an arm, but like he has to work on his accuracy and his timing because many balls that he threw over to first base on ground balls were off the base or they were skipping to first base. So Eric Hosmer had a little bit of a trouble during the series on getting some balls from Tatis because they kept going off the base, they kept skipping. So that I think was something that went wrong with the Padres. That Nando wasn't really good defensively. But besides that, they used too many pitchers, man. They used too many pitchers that really drained all their bullpen. They just didn't have the starting pitching, unfortunately, and who knows where the series would have gone if there was a full series. I mean, a full starting rotation for the Padres. But what I tell people about that is that if you look at the Brewers series of the Dodgers, their bats weren't very electric as they were this series. So now in this series, the Dodgers now have their bats kind of woken up. You saw it in Game 3; they just destroyed the Padres pitching staff by scoring 12 runs in them. So that's what went wrong with the Padres on just their pitching staff was not the greatest. But the Dodgers, man, Game 2 was scary, especially at the end because of Kenley Jansen. But they got the job done. They got the job done. This team is electric. This team is really hitting the ball now. Will Smith, he set Dodger record. We went 5 for 5. That's Dodgers postseason record. And he's such a young player, and he's so versatile at the plate and behind the plate. Clayton Kershaw, he did give up 3 runs in Game 2, but he went the distance. That's what we want from starting a pitcher like Clayton Kershaw. So it's not any big of a deal. He did give up 2 home runs. So there's no time to panic on Clayton Kershaw. There's no time to panic. The Dodgers were up and the Padres got closer, but then all of a sudden the defense showed up. Defense showed up. Cody Bellinger specifically. I went crazy when I saw that catch. It was just phenomenal. I was like, this guy, he's something else. This season he had he struggled at the plate a little bit, but he did so good this series. I have to give him my MVP, and I'm really excited to see them play against the Braves in the NLCS. So, but last thing I'll say, just the Kenley Jansen. I'm not really worried about him. He did really have a bad Game 2, but I think he's good. He just had a really bad outing. He closed out the year pretty strong. He looked pretty nasty with his cutter and his fastball and slider. So I won't panic about him, and we just gotta refocus, stay on this momentum of hitting the baseball, and we'll be fine against the Braves.
Absolutely.
Okay, should Nikash go
yes,
first?
Nick
or
should go
I?
first. You jumped the gun last time.
Yeah, I just want to say congrats, Marco, going to the NLCS like we all expected. Another great series, honestly. I think this series is a little more competitive than the Braves Marlins series, especially Game 2. Everyone got a little scared there at the end for Jansen, bases loaded, but ultimately got the job done. I think, in a sense, this was just domination by the Dodgers. They showed that they were the big brother to the Padres, like they always have in the NL West. Maybe that'll change soon in the future because I think there's potential for the Padres. Tatis is a future MVP. Machado is always up there. Nola's great. Their pitching is phenomenal. They had really bad timing with their pitching staff, going down with injuries, Clevenger and Lamet. I think that this series could be a lot closer if they had a full, healthy pitching staff, but that is the what-if game. Overall, though, Cody Bellinger was the MVP of this series, in my opinion. Like Michael said, robbing the home run was a huge momentum boost in Game 2. I think that really changed the course of the series and the course of the Dodgers season. Mookie Betts also played amazing, and like we said earlier, Will Smith with 5 hits in Game 3, 5 for 6 game, which is crazy for the young star. Overall, great performance from the Dodgers up and down. Clayton Kershaw still pitching well, Walker Buehler still pitching well, so that pitching staff looks great. Bullpen looks a little bit shaky with Kenley Jansen, but overall, they should be fine against the Braves. But overall, great series against the San Diego Padres. Padres will be looking to do something, make some noise in the future, which I think they can, but Dodgers are looking like the favorites right now.
Ryan, before you go, what if you add this to your portion? And I want to get everyone's opinion on this. What did you guys think would happen after Cody Bellinger caught that ball and you saw Gratterall just go bizarre of how excited he was. So go ahead and include in your answer if you can, Ryan.
What's your question exactly? I missed out. It cut out.
Like, what do you think about that? The Gratterall's reaction after Cody Bellinger's catch in center field that took away Tatis's go-ahead home run.
I'll say it this way. He did what he wanted to do, which was piss off the Padres because Machado got pissed. Also, Machado's just a sensitive little guy. So he did his job. He wanted to incite something with the Padres, and they got pissed off. And it worked. Got in their heads. They couldn't do anything else the rest of the game. But I am going to say something about the series. I think the worst thing that could have happened was the Padres' reliance on the bullpen because that bullpen was exhausted after the wild card. 9 of their bullpen pitchers came in and pitched Game 3 to shut out the Cardinals in the wild card series. And they had such a heavy reliance on them once again because their starting pitching could not go the distance. And it hurt them. But I'm going to say this too. I'm sorry, Marco. Dodgers should have lost Game 2. Mm-hmm. No excuses. The Padres lost that. But Cody Bellinger had a terrific series. Will Smith, terrific series. Mookie Betts, great series. I think the thing that really hurt the Padres was that 3 of their best hitters had 2 hits each in this series. Tatis, 2 hits. Machado, 2 hits. Despite him hitting the tar out of the ball, he just couldn't find the hole and find the ground to get the hit. And then Eric Hosmer, 2 hits. When you got 3 of your best hitters only combined for 6 hits in 3 games, that's not a recipe for success. It's a recipe to struggle. And that's what happened with the offense. You saw them still put up 5 runs in Game 2. You saw them be competitive. But you saw in Game 3, the offense just was not there at all. And I don't know what to say about the Padres other than that. Jay Stigler made a horrible decision starting Mike Clevenger. I said that earlier. But I don't have any worries about Kenley Jansen because this Dodgers bullpen is that good that if he struggles, you can bring in someone else, like Dylan Floro or Pedro Baez. You can bring in another guy like Blake Trinan. I'm not worried about Kenley Jansen or this Dodger bullpen. I'm not worried about this team whatsoever. This team is the best in baseball. They've proved it time and time again this year, and they're going to continue to prove it. They really shut out a team that thought that they could do it. So there we go. That's all I have to say.
Well, I'm glad that you said that. And we will spend a little bit of time on the Brusdar Gratterall thing because I think that it's important to talk about. I think all around, this was a pure showing of emotion. For those of you that didn't see it, it was after a 2-run home run that was robbed by Cody Bellinger. He made a phenomenal play. And earlier in the game, Manny Machado hit a home run, turned to the dugout, and threw his bat at the dugout and was screaming at them when they were down by like 4 runs. And everyone was wondering why he did that. Gratterall clearly did this in response to that. After the catch was made, threw his hat in the air, threw his glove in the air. I haven't seen anyone do that ever in the middle of a game for no reason. It was very weird, but I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, it's something different. It changes the narrative of pitchers that, if you want to celebrate, celebrate. The hitters get to throw their bat. Might as well, throw your glove. Show your emotion with something. It takes me back to when Eduardo Rodriguez gave up the grand slam. I forgot what year that was. I believe that was 2018. But he gave up the grand slam and then took his glove and threw it on the ground. And it was funny because that memory will always stick in my head. And I feel like pitchers should be able to show that emotion more. I think that it is a good thing for them. I think Manny Machado was very out of line for barking at him. I think Machado was very unprofessional. I think it was just very hypocritical for him to hit the home run, throw his bat, and then yell at the pitcher for showing emotion. It just shows that you're not really you're not a true ball player. You're not a true ball player if you do it yourself, but then can't expect someone else to do it. it's unfortunate. And look, that is as professional as I can be with this. If you catch me out of the show, I have a lot more to say, but I won't, because I don't want to cross that line. But I'm very disappointed in Manny Machado. He really just not a good look for him, and not a good look for the Padres with that. But Nick and Marco, I'm sure you guys have other stuff to talk about regarding it as well.
You want to go first, Nick?
Okay, Marco's
I'll
first.
go. I'll just say this really quickly. It just shows how I think Manny Machado has been immature ever since he's been to the Padres, because he got that big contract and he thinks his power over everyone, But I think a good memory to think about, because I saw this live, is the World Baseball Classic in San Diego in 2017, when it was Puerto Rico against the United States. Manny Machado hits a ball and he goes straight dead center field in Petco Park, and who robs his home run? Adam Jones. And what does Manny Machado do after that? He tips his cap. Yeah, he tips the cap, and he's like, "Great catch." Cody Bellinger was a great catch too. Why can't he just do that the same thing? Like, hey, that was a great catch. But no,
unprofessional.
Exactly. So, and the thing about Gratterall, I'll be honest with you, I was okay with it because, like you said, Michael, like, why are batters okay with flipping their bats in midair like Jose Bautista did when he was in his prime, and everyone's okay with it, but the pitchers can't. These guys are throwing 100, especially Gratterall, who throw 100-mile-per-hour fastballs like it's nothing. And besides his story of how, like, the Angels didn't want him in that trade, I think it was the Angels. I forgot who he was going to get traded to.
Yeah, it was the Angels. Or it might have been the Twins. I don't remember. He came from the Twins.
No, he came.
Angels didn't want him.
Yeah, so I'm like, this guy, he was shut down before the season even started. The Dodgers were like, you know what, we'll take him. And look, he's in an NLCS now, pitching great baseball. So you got to give the kid some credit. He's young. He came from a very difficult background. He's gone through a lot, and he's enjoying the moment, and his team backs him up because they know his story. They know what he's done to get to where he's at. And Machado just being a little baby, he's just been very sensitive ever since he got that big contract. I'm like, Manny, remember what you did in 2017 at WBC in San Diego? You paid respect for a catch for everything that happened, So I just think Machado, he was very sensitive. He was very immature, unprofessional, and he really needs to work on that without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, from a fan that didn't really care who won, I can just say that this was a really funny altercation. And when it happened, I was just kind of surprised because we never really see pitchers celebrate like that. And I think what Gratterall did was really funny and cool in the moment. And Machado just reacted in not a professional way, in my opinion. But apart from all this, that altercation kind of just showed me how good of a rivalry this will be in the future. Because now we have the Padres, who have been getting beat by the Dodgers.
You cut out, Nick.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I don't know. We can't. I think you might be having – I don't know what's going on there, but we cannot hear you anymore. Oh, maybe we can. My AirPods just disconnected, so it might not have been me. It might have been you. Marco, did you hear him?
Yeah, I was hearing
you. You heard him? Okay, so then it was me. Yeah. That's the problem. Okay, Nick, you're up again. See, that happens to me randomly. Sorry, yeah. I apologize.
You're good. I was just going to finish up by saying that this play kind of showed me that the NL West will be a great rivalry for years to come with these two teams. And maybe even the Giants will be thrown in there when their young core gets going. But specifically these two teams, I think, will have a great showdown for years to come. I think the Dodgers will rule for the next 4 or 5 years in the NL West, but the Padres, I think, are right behind them in terms of talent, in terms of pitching. They're right there. They were aggressive this trade deadline. They made the right moves necessary, and they are a team for the future that everyone should watch out for.
Yeah, going to be a really fun, very fun rivalry. Everyone loves those rivalries. Yankees, Red Sox, it's fun, and this could be the next big thing. And I think that's going to be cool. We saw the Braves-Marlins rivalry get tested a little bit there as well. So that brings us over to the American League side. 4 teams that were on this side, only 2 moved on to the ALCS. The Astros, the number 6 seed, taking on the Athletics, the 2 seed, and the Astros yet again surprised everyone but me, because I'm the one who had them moving on to the ALCS out of everybody. The Astros 1-4. They took a 3-1 win over the Athletics, and I'm not surprised. I know a lot of people were, but I saw this team starting to hit against the Twins. I knew they were going to ride that momentum on, and they did. The Astros pitching staff did struggle a little bit. They gave up a lot of home runs, a lot of big hits, but I mean, that everyone in this series was. That was the only negative I can say for the Astros, that their pitching staff wasn't as good as they could have been. The Athletics, their offense wasn't consistent enough. They couldn't get the runs that they needed, and their pitching staff really struggled. The pitching staff that me and Ryan have argued about to be, the best pitching staffs in baseball, and they just didn't get it done, and that was the problem for them. What went right? First of all, Dodger Stadium. That was the key for the series. If this series is in any other ballpark, we might be looking at a very different result right now. But because this series was in Dodger Stadium, the home runs were prevalent. The Astros offense was electric. They're big guys that you expect and need them to clicked. Certain pitchers got themselves through innings that they needed to get themselves through. And for the Athletics, I mean, they had an amazing offense. It was home run nation. You got to see so many home runs that entire series. And I think the biggest part about this, the main takeaway for me, is that Chad Pinder is a big part of the future of this team for the Athletics. He really emerged from really not being a prevalent part of the team to now being in that spotlight. But I've got to give the MVP in this series to Carlos Correa. A phenomenal series for him. If it weren't for him, the Astros might not have won this series.
Yeah, I have to agree with Pinder because of the fact that in the AL wild card series, he came in and he really did what you got to do against the White Sox to help the Astros get to the ALDS. But I'll just say this: the Astros, they did a really good job. It hurts to say that because we were in the wild card series, we were all Twins.
You're going for
fans.
the Twins.
Yeah, we're all Twins fans. This week we're all Athletics fans, and next week
I was an
all
Astros
Rays
fan
fans.
this week.
Except you, because you're delusional. I'm just saying. But the thing is, the bad thing about the Athletics that went really wrong is that it showed and it proved how much they need Matt Chapman on the lineup. Because
Yes, I forgot about that.
They just needed Matt Chapman. If Matt Chapman was there, it was a totally different series. Because he's a great defender at the hot corner and he's a great bat at the plate. He's very powerful. He has a lot of power. And if it was, like you said, Dodger Stadium is a hitter's ballpark now. I remember back in the day, it was called the pitcher's ballpark because it was all about pitching. Now it's all about hitting. And now imagine Matt Chapman being the hitter that he is in the hitter's ballpark. I think it would have been a totally different outcome. Maybe the series goes to 5 games. You just don't know. But I got to give it to Carlos Correa. He had a great series, as much as I hate to say it. Unless they have some vibrators in their pockets now that they're just seeing what pitches are coming. But Correa, he had a great series. I have to give it to him. But yeah, not much else for me.
Wow. All I got to say is wow. Michael, great call with the Astros. I couldn't have thought they would win in a million years. But this goes to show how great play of baseball is. What a storyline. A team that comes from cheating, a team that barely makes the playoffs, had a just disappointing season with a new manager, with all the scandals. So I remember you and I were even in class when the scandals were happening with the AJ.
You and I were in it together, yes.
Yeah. So to think that this team now is playing for a chance to go to the World Series is mind-boggles me, But what a kind of a great storyline. Would make a great documentary one day. ESPN 3 should get right on that. But altogether, what can you say? The Athletics didn't come to play. I think Marco nailed it on the head. Matt Chapman was the ultimate deciding factor in the series. He wasn't there. I think the series would turn a lot better if he was there. The Athletics just didn't get the timely hitting that they needed to. But I got to give it to Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley was overall my most consistent player of the series, and all year for the Astros, he's been the most consistent player. I don't think the Astros even come close to the playoffs if it isn't without his bat. I think he batted I think he's batting 360 this playoffs, which is insane. But yeah, when guys like Carlos Correa hitting 2 home runs, Michael Brantley doing their thing, the lineup is still scary. This lineup still is a team that's gone to the World Series multiple times this past couple of years for the wrong reasons, though. But this year it seems legit for the most part, but we'll see what happens. But great series from the Astros and Athletics, but I guess we're all Rays fans now.
I'll say it this way for me. I'm glad to see the Astros win without cheating. As long as they're not cheating, I'm happy with them winning because this team is so dangerous.
You don't know that yet.
Oh, my God. It wouldn't shock me, but come on. Don't put that in my brain right now.
How do you know they're not cheating?
We hope. We can hope.
That's the
Okay.
You can continue.
Wow,
So-
we're ganging up on Ryan for once. What is happening? I love this.
This isn't ganging up on me for stupid comments like you. So nice try. For this series, I think the one thing that you have
seeing
to.
the Astros not cheating. So how do you know they're not cheating? There's less.
Oh, there's always that possibility, but come on.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it's happening. It wouldn't shock me though. I think going in through this series, the MVP by far is Carlos Correa. 11 RBIs in 4 games. That's insane. He was terrific, but you got to remember Framber Valdez and Christian Javier. They have been terrific to be those guys who have stepped up. They did it in the wild card, did in the DS as well. Got to give them credit for terrific performances on the mound. But I think what you're seeing is the A's throughout the course of the season had one of the league's top bullpens. Got rocked. They got to Jake Diekman, who gave up 1 earned run over the course of the entire season. The Astros are hitting the ball well. They're a great offensive team, and they proved that. You've always known that. And here's what frustrates me about the whole cheating thing. This series, if they aren't cheating, proves that they did not need to cheat to win. That's what is so freaking frustrating. They didn't need to because they're that talented. They've got terrific pieces that can hit the ball well. So that's my frustration with that whole thing. But overall, the A's just could not get anything going. Their pitching got rocked. Bassett got hit. Montas got hit. Luzardo got hit. I'm still upset that there was no Game 5 because I wanted to see Mike Fiers go against the Houston Astros.
Yes.
That would have been terrific. But the Astros did what they needed to do. They hit the ball well. And that's what carried them. And who knows if the hitting can carry them into the World Series.
Yeah, we'll see. That's going to be an important thing to keep in mind. An Astros team that is hot. We'll talk about the preview in just a moment. But before we get there, we have to talk about, in my opinion, the most exciting series of the entire division series. Possibly the most exciting series we've seen so far this postseason. The Yankees and the Rays. And boy, oh boy, does it make me proud to be a Mets fan to say that the Yankees are out. They're done. They can't win the World Series this year.
At least the Yankees can make the playoffs.
Hey, they haven't. The Mets have made the World Series more in the 2010s. In the last 10, the Mets have made the World Series more in the last 11 years than the Yankees have. Thank you very much.
You want it so funny? The Royals have won more World Series.
Whoa.
The Yankees.
Who cares? Who
and
cares?
the Mets
What's
the
the
past
relevance?
decade.
Relevance
You
check.
made it there, but you choked. Congrats.
Relevance check.
Chris Familia. Great job there, buddy.
We got outplayed. We've
killed
talked
it.
about this a million times. He's never going to let it go because his team can't do well anymore. It's fine, Ryan. We understand.
My team will win a World Series before your team. I'll put
$100 on it. I will give you $100
Your team will not win a
right
World
now.
Series in the next 10 years.
I'm not going to put
Your
money
team
on
is
that.
Overrated every single year.
Actually, you know what? I would put
It
money
is
on that.
the
too.
Cowboys of baseball. The
money
expectations are
on
high every single year, and you can't meet it because your team's not that good.
We'll have a whole show dedicated to you roasting the Mets. We have other things to focus on right
I can
now.
roast the Tigers too.
See,
But
even
Carolina's delusional.
we don't need to talk about this. We have
No
stuff
one
to cover.
cares about the Royals.
Even Dom said that everything's about the Royals. He turns everything in life into the Royals. In our ethics class, he brings up the Royals at least once a month.
The Chiefs are the only relevant sports team in your area.
Exactly. Thank you. We're
Tigers
moving
win
on.
World Series, buddy.
We're
No
moving.
one cares about the Royals.
It's all the excuse.
It works every time.
The Tigers.
Every time. I'm just trying to get reactions from all of you, and it works every single time.
Poor Marco. We have stuff to cover.
And it works every single time.
We have things to cover. And this is not important to talk about. The Yankees Rays in 5, an amazing series between the two of them. The only series that actually ended up going to the decision game 5, the deciding game 5. For what went wrong for the Yankees, some of the worst management I have seen in a baseball postseason series ever. I've spoken to all my Yankee friends. They are all calling for the head of Aaron Boone. I'm making the call right now. He is going to be fired this offseason. Aaron Boone will no longer be the Yankees manager. He clearly showed terrible management in that series, overworked Chapman, overworked Green. And the other problem, anyone not named DJ LeMahieu and Giancarlo Stanton could not get a hit. I mean, the Yankees just couldn't get it done. You can't rely on two guys to carry you throughout the series, and that's what they tried to do. For the Rays, their offense did slow down a lot at the end, which hurts them a lot going into the ALCS, and their pitching staff could not hold down the Yankees' offense. That is a top pitching staff in baseball, and they did struggle in the first few games. They got better towards the end. What went right? For the Yankees, two words: Giancarlo Stanton and Garrett Cole. Those two guys were the keys of that team. And the other big part is Kyle Higashioka establishing himself as the starter of the future for the New York Yankees, with Gary Sanchez most likely not being that guy anymore. For the Rays, they out-hit the Yankees enough to get the win. Their pitching finally kicked into gear in Game 5. And the MVP, I've got to go for Diego Castillo here.
Yeah, I like Diego Castillo a lot. That's a great pick, and I'll go with that one too. But I think the biggest thing that went wrong for the Yankees, they lost Game 3. If they would have won Game 3, I think they would have won Game 4 and they go to the ALCS. But they didn't. The Rays pitching staff, once again, dominant. They really made the Yankees work for any hits that they were able to get. So I got to give it to the Rays. They did really, really good. The only bad thing about this is that they're going to be very exhausted going to the ALCS against the Astros. And the Yankees were tired as it is. When they went against against the Indians in the AL Wild Card Series, because they went to 3 games. And I'm not saying it's not a lot of games, but you know what I mean. Like, you went to the deciding game both series. Your pitchers and your batters can be a little bit tired. So that's unfortunate for the Yankees. But the Rays, I would think this: if the Rays would end up losing, I would tell the Dodgers, like, hey, look at how the Rays pitched to the Yankees, where they allowed minimal or to none offensive power.
Yeah.
Look at that, because they really shut down the Yankees when they needed to. So I would just say they did a great job containing this powerful and very dangerous lineup. And I'm excited to see what they do against the Astros, unless the Astros got some vibrators, then they know what pitches are coming. But the Rays, they did a really good pitching-wise. I think they should have really won Game 4, but they just didn't. And I won't say it's understandable, but they weren't really playing desperately for a win. So I would just say good job for the Rays. Yeah, I'd say that.
All I gotta say is
yes.
All I gotta say is another disappointment for the Yankees. Like Michael said, I was going to bring it up earlier. Aaron Boone might be done. I don't know where Brian Cashman goes from here. I would maybe give him one more year, considering how crazy of a year it's been with everything that's like a 60-game season.
Need for speed.
Right. But like you said earlier, that was just terribly managed game. I don't know how you don't throw. I mean, obviously Chapman isn't the best playoff pitcher, but I don't know if I pitch him in the 8th in that situation. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks he had going into this game. But I just want to give a quick shout out to Randy, or I don't know how to say his last name. Arozarena for his great 3-game stretch, having 8 hits in 3 games. And then he went hitless in the last 2 games, but he was the main source of offense for the Rays in this series. But I just also want to give a shout out to the bottom half of that lineup. The 7, 8, 9 hitters were the best run producers for that Rays lineup, which is scary for any team facing them in the playoffs. The Astros should be scared, and the Dodgers should be scared for the World Series matchup.
Whoa! Chill, Nick, chill.
We'll get there next week,
I guess. But all in all, the Rays look scary as ever. They look like the team that should have been. They deserve to beat the Yankees hands down. The Yankees just weren't ready for primetime baseball. Aaron Judge was my biggest disappointment of the series. They only hits or home runs, which is something you just can't do. But all in all, great for the Rays. They look like the team to beat in the AL. Hopefully they can manage to scab off the Astros.
Michael, I'm sorry, but you're wrong once again. How can you say nobody hit on that team outside of LeMahieu and Stanton? If you look at it, Gleyber Torres hit 313 in the
Aaron
series.
Hicks was amazing.
Aaron Hicks,
Yeah.
389 in the series.
You know what I
Brett
meant.
Gardner, 364. Kyle Higashioka, 308. What are you saying, Michael? I'm sorry, but I think you might be blind. There was hitting there. But honestly, the Achilles heel of the Yankees this year was that bullpen, and it came back to hurt them. And give it to Brousseau. Got to give him credit. The history behind that home run's insane. He got thrown at by Chapman earlier in the season and then hits the game-winning home run off of him. That's insane. We live for those type of storylines, and I thought it was incredible. But overall, this Rays team is dangerous, and I expect them to win this series against the Astros. I'm going to take them in 5.
Interesting. All right. Well, we will see about that. We are getting into our predictions now because we do have to end the show at 58. I think we go till 54 for the NLCS, and then we'll go up to 57 for the ALCS so that we can kind of time that a little bit.
Quit planning. Let's just go.
Okay, let's just go. In the NLCS, Braves, Dodgers, 2 seed and 1 seed. I think that the Dodgers are going to take this in 6. I think it's going to be a really good series. I think the Dodgers offense will out-hit the Braves and that the Dodgers will out-pitch the Braves. I think the Dodgers are firing on all cylinders at the perfect time, and that's what they need to do.
Yeah, I'll go with the Dodgers in 5 games. Worst case scenario, 6 games. Because if you look at their bullpen, they're pretty well rested, until game 3. Yeah, because like they kept changing pitchers, so they're pretty well rested now. With them sweeping the Padres, they don't have to worry about like playing 5 games and all these bullpen arms are tired. So I will go with the Dodgers in 5 games or even 6 games at most. But yeah, the offense looks really, really good. Scored 12 runs in the last game against the Padres. So I think they're in the right momentum, and they'll punch their ticket to the World Series in 5 games. Like I said, worst case scenario, 6 games.
Yeah, I like Dodgers in 6. For me, it'll be a testament to see whose lineup is deeper. You know who you're going to get from Acuna and Freeman versus Betts and Bellinger. I think they'll both duos perform very well, but for me, it matters on how much of the rest of the lineup plays. We saw Travis d'Arnaud play well the entire series against the Marlins, and we saw Will Smith have 5 hits against the Padres. It'll come down to those type of hitters, what they can do against this great pitching duo matchup. So.
Well, just really quick, the fact that I think something that you could look at, Nikash, is that I've been saying this all year. If it wasn't for Corey Seager and Mookie Betts, the Dodgers would play in the way they're playing. So the duo is Mookie Betts and Cody Bellinger, but Corey Seager has been having a phenomenal year. So put that in some there.
I think he'll be probably your X factor for this series.
I agree.
Favorite player, bro. Favorite player.
I don't know what else you can do besides just say the Dodgers are going to win the series because they are. Their offense is elite. Their pitching is terrific. That bullpen is insane. There's not enough good things you can say about this team. They're the best team in baseball. But you're going against a very hot Braves team who's got a terrific offense, and their pitching staff has looked very good.
Yeah.
I've got Dodgers in 6.
Okay, I agree. Now, for the ALCS, you got Astros, the 6 seed, and the Rays, the 1 seed. Both 1 seeds are still fighting for a World Series. But Ryan, I think we've learned enough that I have been right about this Astros team all season long. You are wrong. The Astros are going to win this series in 6 games. The Rays are not hitting. The Astros are dominant at the plate right now. The Rays offense can't get a hit. They got 2 hits. They got 2 runs in that last game. I think they only scored 1 run in game 4. They're not hitting right now. They need to outslug the most offensive happy American League team right now. It's not easy to do. The Astros, the only hope for the Rays is that they can start hitting off of against the not as difficult Astros pitching staff. That's going to be the X factor in this series is the Rays. Can they get their bats hot? If they get their bats hot, this series could go 7, but I think the Astros are taking it in 6. I just don't see any way that the Rays can slow them down.
That was me. I thought you were talking straightly to Ryan.
No, Ryan will respond when it's his turn. As we know.
It's a toss-up for me because I see the series going 7 games. Because of the lack of depth.
I would love
Astros, because of the lack of depth in the Astros starting pitching wise. They don't have just Verlander.
Yeah.
They don't have just Verlander. They don't have their big pitcher Zach Greinke. And they lost Garrett Cole a year ago. So their pitching is lacking as of right now, starting pitching wise. So I think during those lack of really big name starting pitchers, the Rays might get a couple hits and a couple runs to win the games. And likewise with the Rays, there's sometimes that they don't have their biggest pitcher on the mound, and the Astros can get their bats hot in that game. So it could be a win, 1 game the Rays, 1 game the Astros, or 2 games the Rays, 2 games the Astros. It could go either way. But if I were to say someone, I would say Rays in 7 against the Dodgers.
Okay.
Well, 3 times a charm. I bet against the Astros twice. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say Rays in 6. I'm probably not going to learn my lesson again. We'll see what happens.
Hey, I've been outmatched 3-1 every time and have been right, so that's fine.
3 times a charm.
I've just been concerned that the Rays won't show up to hit in game 1 and 2, which could ultimately cost them this series. Their pitching, though, I think matches up very well. Glass. The fact that they had Glass now pitch last game was impressive. Snell was ready to pitch. Morton was ready to pitch. I thought they were going to throw one of them out there in the 9th. So their pitching, I'm not too worried about, but the hitting is where it lies for me. Hopefully, they can get more production out of their the heart of their lineup rather than just their 7, 8, 9 hitters. But it'll be a great series. I think the whole world will be rooting against the Astros, which would be cool. But
other than me,
well, right. But I don't know why. But I mean, you believe in them. I guess I don't know. But I got Rays in 6. And my player to watch will be Kevin Kiermaier.
okay.
I'm going to say it, Rays in 6. Yeah, sure, the Astros offense has been good, but the best offense when healthy in the AL is the Yankees.
Yeah.
And who did the Rays shut down?
The Yankees.
To hold in 1 run in a Game 7 deciding series?
In a series where the Yankees weren't
Hold
hitting
on.
cylinders.
Hold on. Who was that team, though?
The Yankees, who are not hitting at their finest, but the Astros are.
The Rays is that good. Charlie Morton, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and have one of the best bullpens in the league. The Rays are going to shut them down, and the Rays can beat you in small ball or long ball. There's so many facets of the game a team can be great in. The Rays are great, like the Dodgers. Both teams are great in every single facet of the game. Rays in 6, they're going to the World Series. Please put the Astros to
We will see. We will see. But that is going to do it for our show today. We've got a lot of baseball. ALCS Game 1 tonight. Be there.
Chiefs, baby, go Chiefs.
We're excited. It's not a football podcast. It's a baseball podcast. No one cares about Kansas City at the moment. We're all focused on baseball today. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you all next time. We love you all. Enjoy baseball.
I don't love